And it is time to get started. Hey, welcome to At the Track Live. I am Coach James. I am the creator of and lead instructor for All About Aerodynamics. What is All About Aerodynamics, you ask? Glad you asked. Even if you didn't ask, All About Aerodynamics is a science program where I use Hot Wheels cars to teach kindergarten through 6th grade students about a range of science and physics related topics, including but not limited to friction, force, aerodynamics, drag, lift, Isaac Newton and his 3 laws of motion, kinetic energy, potential energy, elastic force, a whole range of topics. Once we have covered all the science topics and conducted experiments to drive home those concepts, then and only then do I bring in about 400 different Hot Wheels cars, and each student has the opportunity to select a Hot Wheels car they think would be fastest in a series of races based on everything they've learned about aerodynamics and physics and all the other science topics. Once they've selected their cars, then they examine their cars, they weigh their cars, they test the speed of their cars, they check the year the car was manufactured, the materials the car is made from, all of the observable elements that they can see. They document those, put those in a spreadsheet, and then the only thing left to do is set up a 1/64th scale quarter-mile drag strip and race the cars. The students race the cars. We have a tournament. They observe how their cars perform. Did their cars perform up to or below their expectations? And if they had the opportunity, would they select that same car again, or would they make a different choice based on everything they have observed? In the end, we have fun with Hot Wheels cars, and we learn science. What could be better? If you would like more information about our science program, All About Aerodynamics, all you have to do is go to our website, aaAerodynamics.com, or you can follow us on Instagram, aaAerodynamics, and all of the information you need to contact me is in the bio, and we can discuss how to bring our program to your school or your organization or your special event. But this is not all about aerodynamics. This is All About Aerodynamics presents At the Track Live. So what is At the Track Live? Well, before I can bring in all of those cars for the students to use, I have to make sure that I have those cars properly cataloged and organized. So that means I have to take a picture of the cars, I have to enter the cars' basic information into a spreadsheet, and assign the car a number. Well, that was boring work, so I decided to create At the Track Live, which forced me to actually introduce more cars into the fleet and made it a little more interesting to do the work that I had to do anyway. So every week I go into storage, I pull out Hot Wheels cars that I've purchased in the past, crack those open, get a picture, get a little video, do a little review, and then once we have those new cars ready to be introduced, then the track is already set up, so we have a little mini tournament, and we race the cars and see which of the new cars is the fastest. But wait, there's more. If you would like to participate, all you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live, and you're going to have 3 options. You're going to have the Twitch stream link, the YouTube stream link, but the third link is the most important link. That is the link that says, choose your car. If you select that link, you will be taken to this page. And on this page, you will find all of the cars that are currently in the All About Aerodynamics At the Track Live fleet listed and categorized. Or no, not categorized. They're just listed and they're numbered. You can see pictures of all the cars. We have cars from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Some that were just released in the last couple of weeks and months. We have a range of cars. This row right here is pretty indicative of like what you'll find. We have car number 100, this Jaguar XK8 and little convertible Jaguar, gold Hot Ones wheels, metal body on a plastic base it looks like, and this is obviously modeled after a real car. But if we move just one over, we've got the Turbone Charged, which is some kind of, I think we raced this one at Halloween, and it's got the skull right on the front and the kind of skeleton arms coming up over the wheels in the front, and like a rocket thing in the back. So obviously a fantasy car. Next to that, we have a 32 Ford, which obviously based on a real car, and got the hot rod style. But then next to that, we have the Speed Spider, another fantasy car based on a tarantula, based on a spider. So we have all types of cars. We have trucks, we have station wagons, we have coupes, we have luxury cars, we have hypercars, supercars, whatever kind of car that you're interested in. Maybe it's a boat. We've got a hovercraft here, and I believe there is at least one or two other boat, nautical themed related cars, but we've got those. There are old cars from the 80s. This one, this rear ender, is one of about 3 or 4 cars that I have from this set from back in the 80s, where the cars have a little gimmick where you bang into the car and then the panel flips around and it shows crash damage. So the rear ender, this one is the little panel is in the back. So if the car gets hit from the back, the little hatch flies up and there shows damage on the rear bumper. The other one is in the front, and then I think I have at least 1 or 2 more where the damage is on the side. So those are cars that are available to choose. However, this car, just looking at the picture, you can tell that it is a metal body on a metal base, and that is a prescription for a very heavy car. And on our track, heavy is not the direction you want to go, because a heavy car is going to slow down and probably not make it to the end of the track. Or if it does make it to the end, it's going to do so in a very, very slow fashion, and that's not what you want. So as you go through and look, trying to make your decision, maybe it's a fish car. We've got the Piranha Terror. We've got multiple shark-themed cars in there. And once you find the car that you want, all you have to do is take the number that's in front of the car and drop that in the chat. I will pull the car, and once I pull the car, then we will take it to the track, and we will see if in fact your car is faster than all of the other cars that are racing, and if it's faster than our fastest in fleet car. And our fastest in fleet car is the car that has won our tournament the past few weeks, and it is the car that will be the final car that has to be taken down, the final boss, if you will. If you can beat out all the other cars, you will have the opportunity to take on our fastest in fleet car, which is currently this one. It is the RD09. The RD09 is our fastest in fleet car. It has been our fastest in fleet car and champion for the past couple of weeks. Probably about three or four weeks now. Maybe, yeah, just about that long. And it has proven that despite its interesting back end, where it's got those 2 sharp points that you're going to see as it comes around this way, usually that is not the type of back end on a car that kind of guarantees a solid launch. Usually cars with this type of back end, they get pretty inconsistent launches. And when a car gets an inconsistent launch, that means that it's going to bounce. It's going to get pushed to one side or the other. Ideally, you want the cars to stay as straight as possible and get pushed out of the launcher, and just stay centered on the track. When a car gets pushed to one side or the other, then we start to see Isaac Newton's third law of motion, that for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, and the car will hit one side, then bounce to the other side, then bounce back, and it's just this pattern that creates additional friction when the wheels are hitting the edges of the track, and it just works to slow the cars down. And that's obviously not what you want in a race. You want to minimize anything that's going to work to slow the cars down. And on our track, it's usually three forces. There is gravity, there's friction, and there is drag. And those are the three primary forces that are working against the forward momentum of the car. And anything that you can do, anything that your car can do to minimize the impact of any of those forces is only going to improve the performance of the car on the track. So, with this car, we've put it in the wind tunnel. Every Wednesday, we have a program, Wind Tunnel Wednesdays, where we put these cars into the 1/64th scale Windsable wind tunnel, and we can see how the air is flowing over, under, and around these cars, and we can get an idea for how much drag is going to impact the car's performance. So with this car, the air actually hits right at this front bumper, comes up over the hood. Some of it goes beneath the car, obviously, but it comes up over the top. And the cars that we've seen do very well on the track have usually had this very smooth transition between the hood, the windshield, and the roof line. And it's usually fantasy cars, because most real cars aren't designed in this way. And that air just kind of flows right up over the top without a lot of turbulence or disruption. It just follows along the body lines of the car. With this one, this engine kind of disrupts the airflow a little towards the back, but for the most part, the air is flowing without a lot of disruption, without a lot of turbulence, and therefore it's reducing. We can actually visually see that the amount of drag is reduced with this design style and this body style of this car. It's not the case with some of the other cars we've put in the wind tunnel, but that is just one of the factors that contributes to the car's performance. So if you can pick a car that can beat out all of the other cars, then you will be able to challenge the RD09 today. So we do have some cars that have already been selected earlier this week that are going to be in the mix to see if they can become our new fastest in fleet cars. But we are also going to be introducing some cars into the fleet, new cars every week, new cars. So let's see. I usually, the idea is that I go back into the storage and I pull out cars that I bought a while ago that haven't had a chance to race. And that's the idea, is to kind of cut down on the cars that I have in storage. But every time I go into the store, Target, Walmart, what have you, I go down that Hot Wheels aisle or that toy aisle and look at the Hot Wheels. And if I see something that catches my eye, that I like, that I think the students might like, I pick it up. And now when I do that, those cars are supposed to go to the back of the storage bin, and I'm supposed to basically get the older cars, introduce those, and kind of cycle through it that way. But sometimes, I break the rules. It's not a hard and fast rule. But anyway, this week is going to be pretty much almost all cars that I picked up this week while I was out. And I was out. I think most of these came from Walmart, and I was there for something totally different, like a water filter or something. But went down that toy aisle and started digging through the bins and saw a couple of cars that I'd been looking for, at least one car that I had definitely been looking for, and a couple others that I'm pretty sure we don't have in the fleet, so I picked them up, and here we are. But I also have a bag of loose cars here that I came across, and I've kind of been sorting through because some of these we already have in the fleet, like this Mach Speeder. We already have at least one. This is green, which is why you can't see it, but there's already at least one Mach Speeder. We've got this Star Wars Land Speeder, but this, because of the little jets on the edges, it's too wide to fit into the launcher, so we can't do anything with that. And with these wheels on the bottom, I don't think it would be all that fast anyway. There's just a bunch of cars in here. Some that we... So there's this one. This is a 50... What is it? A 50... I think it's a 58 Corvette. And this is a nice premium car, and why it's not in the fleet, I don't know. It's definitely heavy. I can tell you right now. This is I would bet that this is 50 grams at least. 51 grams is my guess. It's 53 grams. So this is an extremely heavy car, and but it's nice. It's got a nice kind of metal flake paint job, racing stripes, premium wheels, metal on metal. Nice looking car. Anyway, my point is, here's a Baby Yoda car, Grogu, I think. But the ears make it a little too wide to fit into our launcher. You can see here. Actually, I take that back. It does fit. The ears are not the issue. So, technically, this car can race. And it fits in. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and throw this in. We'll make this our first car. This is the... well, first, let me double check. So on the bottom, it says the name of the car is The Child, which is what I guess they were calling him early on. Oh boy, we've got one of these. So apparently, when this car is rolling, we've been over this with the Rockin' Railer. We had this issue where some of these cars have the little gimmick where this one has tabs on the wheel, and every time it comes around, it hits a tab on this engine to make it rock back and forth. So it's when the car is moving down the track, this rocks back and forth because this tab is hitting the engine like that. So that's what happens. And what we did is we took another Rockin' Railer, cut off the tab so that it wasn't hitting the engine every time around, and then we raced those cars, and obviously the car that didn't have anything impeding the wheel turning did better, so it was faster. We had that telephone car, the Quick Chat, last week. This one, and same thing. It had a little tab on the wheel, and the tab would come around and hit the phone so that the phone receiver would rock back and forth like the phone was ringing while the car was going down the track. But again, since that was going to slow the car down, we cut the tabs off of the wheels. Well, in just pushing this little Grogu car, as it goes down the track, there's something in there. There's some little tab that I can't see that basically makes the head bob up and down like that. So, Oh, actually, I can see the tabs. I can see the tabs right there. You can see it. There's one there, and then there is one right there. So we've got those two tabs, which I really need to cut those off. So I will get, well, go ahead and weigh the car and do all of that. But I am definitely going to be cutting those tabs off because that is just going to slow the car down. And I think this car is going to need all the help that it can get. But let's go ahead and, well, first let me double check to make sure there isn't one of these already in the fleet. But I'm pretty sure there isn't, because I wouldn't have I don't think I would have had a second one. Let's see, the child, we have the Batman Batmobile, we have the Falcon, and we have the Governor, the Hollinator, the Mystery Machine, two Vanster, the Vanster, and other than that, I think that is about it. So we will add in this little Yoda, Grogu, the child car into the fleet and see. Oh, on the way home. Oh, no problem, Virgo. We are just getting started, and the first car up is going to be this one. Let me see what it weighs. This car weighs in at 39.3 grams, so it's already a little heavy. But let's go ahead and take a look at this one. It is the child from the Mandalorian series. And I think I'm sure I was thinking that the ears were going to prevent this thing from fitting into the launcher, but I just tested it out and it fits. So this is going to be car number 985. This is called The Child. And I'm going to grab that tool so that I can cut those tabs off, because we've definitely got to get those off. So let me grab those while this car comes around. So I usually don't make modifications to the cars. I've watched other Hot Wheels channels, and I know that the main modification you'll see when people are racing Hot Wheels is that they put graphite on the wheels and axle to reduce the amount of friction and get the cars moving a little faster. I don't do any of that. The only modifications that I make there's really just two. I will modify a car. Usually it's cutting something off so that it can fit into the launcher. There'll be pipes or different little wings or elements or something that makes some of these cars a little too wide. And if I can just clip off one little piece, we had to do it with the SpongeBob car. We had to cut off a little, there was like an exhaust pipe that was coming out. We had to just cut one side off in order to get it to fit in. There was another car we had where that Riley and Scott Mark III, where part of the bumper, we just needed to cut off one little piece of that to get it so that it fit into the launcher. This one I assumed wasn't going to fit because of the ears, but turns out it does fit. But the other modification is going to be, well, first I'll take the still picture. and then we'll talk about the modification. Let's get this photo going. Let's go ahead and zoom in. And we will go right here, get that centered up, and get a little bit of fill light here. And there we go with the Grogu, the child Hot Wheels car, which is now car number 985 as we kind of slowly creep up towards car number 1000. A few weeks away, a couple weeks into the new year, we will be there. But with this car, so you can kind of see how the head's bobbing up and down. That is because of the tabs. Where are the tabs? Oh wait, wrong part. There's the tab. Right there. And that tab is coming around and hitting whatever little other tab they have with the head, and that's what's making the thing bob up and down. But what we know is that will cause the whole vehicle to slow down because this wheel isn't going to be able to spin freely. And I think I described it before like a prize wheel at a carnival. And see if I can get this. I just got to get this tool in here to be able to clip this off. It's at a weird, got a weird angle. But if you've ever, you know, one of those carnival prize wheels that have the little tab and you spin the wheel and it's click, 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 click. Well, it's that little tab that actually slows down the wheel so that it will land on your prize ultimately. And that is the same idea here. Every time this wheel comes around, it is being, it's getting slowed down because every time that tab strikes the, there we go. All right, let's see if that's, this one's it's a little more difficult to get a clean kind of cut because it is, because of the design. And so this one, you're really only seeing the bottom portion of the wheel. So that little white part, it's making it tough to get this this tool down in there. But I've got to make sure that I cut it all off. Otherwise, we're going to have a whole other issue. And let's see. Yep, there's two of them. There's one on both wheels. So I gotta cut them both off. Second one seemed to come off a little easier than the first. The first is being quite kind of problematic. Let's see if I can get this out of there. Because now what we have, I'll show you close up. Right here, there's a little piece right there that I'm trying to clip off. That right there. And it's actually preventing the wheel from properly spinning, and that's not going to be any good because obviously anything that slows and prevents this wheel from spinning is not going to be helpful. So we are going to make sure that this car has the best possible opportunity to race and win, and still feels, it's still kind of hanging up. The wheel's still hanging up just a bit. So this one, it's hard to see. The one wheel, the wheel on the top, is spinning pretty freely. The other one, all right, I think we've got it. Yeah, these wheels, yeah, they're spinning okay. I think I may still need to get in there a little bit, but all right, we've got the Grogu car, and that is car number 985, and that is, we're gonna see what that car can do. I'm gonna keep working these wheels, make sure this thing can spin. It's already, I mean, just based on the weight, the fact that it's 39 grams puts it outside of the range of where we usually like to see the cars that do well tend to be between 32 and 36 grams, like right in that range. And cars that fall outside of that one way or the other, it's not impossible because it's only a few grams, but you're kind of pushing your luck just a little bit. And the further you get outside of those, either significantly lighter than 32 grams or significantly heavier than 36 grams, now it's anybody's guess as to what could happen. We've got another truck that we're going to introduce that I also pulled out of the same bag of loose cars. And this one is so we have the Bone Shaker, which is one of the classic Hot Wheels cars. This is the Bone Shaker, but the Baja truck edition. So this is lifted. It's got the big off-road wheels. First, let's see how much it weighs. Weighs 39 grams, so it's right there with the Grogu child car. And it's kind of interesting because they're different sizes, similar weights. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Baja Bone Shaker, which is this one here. And there it is. And I am going to put a different background there so we can get a little contrast and actually see the lines of this vehicle a little bit better. Go ahead and get it lined up and that, and get a little bit of fill light there. We haven't had a truck with these off-road wheels do well. I can't think of one that has been even kind of competitive with the other cars. And I think there's a few things. Most of the time, if you have a car that has these off-road wheels, it's going to be a bigger truck. And it's going to have a worse aerodynamic profile than some other cars. So there's that. It's going to tend to be, again, a truck, so it's going to be heavier. And the weight is really not, having a heavier car doesn't really help you out all that much on the track. I was watching, let me put this in the Baja Bone Shaker. I was watching some races on another YouTube channel, and they were gravity races, and they had the the Blitz Speeder was actually one of the cars. So the Blitz Speeder was lined up with they had the 6-lane raceway, so with 5 other cars. One of the cars was a cement mixer, some Matchbox cement mixer. And the cement mixer went down and won the race. So the cement mixer beat out the Blitz Speeder. And the Blitz Speeder is one of the fastest cars we've ever had on the track. But it just goes to show the difference with a gravity track versus our flat drag track. With a gravity track, having a heavier car can work out. And usually does. But on our track, a heavy car is going to get, gravity is going to come for that car toward the end of the race. And it's not usually something that's going to work out. But we've got this Baja Bone Shaker. Hey, Rough Shot, how you doing? So we've got this Baja Bone Shaker. Is it going to be the first of the cars with the off-road wheels to do well on the track? I don't know. But if it goes up against that Grogu car, they are the same. They're the same weight. Completely different cars, but the weight is about the same. So if we take a look at them together, totally different kind of profiles, and we're going to find out. Now, the Grogu car is interesting also because it seems like it has regular Hot Wheels wheels on the bottom. With some of these kind of character cars with the wheels in an interesting kind of place, they'll have smaller, those tiny wheels like the ones that were on the Land Speeder. So like they'll have wheels like this, these little novelty wheels instead of the standard Hot Wheels wheels. But this one definitely has regular Hot Wheels wheels. So once after I cut off the little tabs, and now that the wheels can spin freely, who knows? This should be an interesting matchup with these two. So we've got the Baja Bone Shaker, which is lifted off-road vehicle with those tires, and then we've got the Grogu car. So if we match these cars up, one of these cars is going to come out ahead. One of these cars is going to move ahead. Now, I will have to also check when we put this on the track to make sure that these Grogu ears don't hit the tripods for the cameras. That's also a concern, but we'll deal with that when we get out to the track. So far we've got the Bone Shaker. We've got this Grogu, the child car, and we are now going to get into some cars that I just picked up, and we'll go, actually one, I saw it on Rough Shot's channel, and that's what let me know to look for it, and it is this one, this Hightail Chaser, and they took that Superbird wing and put it on this kind of fantasy car where it looks like they mashed together a Ferrari and a Superbird and maybe an Acura. I don't know. But here it is, the Hightail Chaser. On the back it says born in 2025 in El Segundo, California. Designer Hot Wheels pushed the limits with this mid-engine race car, delivering precision, handling, and speed on any track. Its sleek design channels air to its supercharged V8, while a massive rear wing maximizes downforce. So there we go. We have the Hightail Chaser, and gonna crack this open and take a look. And this is one of the cars it's already got the new for 2026 badge. I think this is probably the first one that I have that has that from that grouping. Feels pretty light. Let's see what it's weighing in at. 32.8 grams, so right at the low end of our kind of sweet spot range, which is between 32 and 36 grams. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one. And let's drop this in, get the focus right. Go ahead and grab this video of the Hightail Chaser. It's kind of interesting because it's definitely got that Superbird wing on it. And I'm trying to see as it comes around the back, that wing may stick up so high that we have to use the taller acrylic cover. And the acrylic cover is something that we use to make sure that these cars stay on the track when they get launched and don't fly into the air. And usually the taller acrylic cover is for the taller vehicle. So like that Baja Bone Shaker is most likely going to need that cover. But with this one, this is a standard car. If you took off that wing, it would use the regular cover. So we're going to see how that may or may not impact the launch of this car, but it is going to be pressed up pretty well against the launching block. So that should hopefully guarantee a good solid launch. That is always the first step in having a successful car, is getting that good launch. You want to get a good launch, which means typically the car's not gonna fly into the air. If it does, it'll just hit the acrylic cover and get back down on the track. But for the most part, you want to stay straight. Cars that bounce around the track, that's not a prescription for winning races. Now this one, I can almost, with all these fantasy cars, they always recolor them and you come with a different version. And I have a feeling that there's going to be a different color combination of this one that I like a lot better than this one. But for now, this is the one that we've got. And go ahead and get my picture here. And we are now looking at this Hightail Chaser, which is the next car entered in, car number 987. Check the year this thing was manufactured. I think it's probably, 2025. Put that in there. And we are now ready to add in our next car. Just checking this Mandalorian Grogu car. That's 2020. And get that in there. I always keep the years that the cars were manufactured, just because it's one more piece of data and information that will help me kind of identify the cars. 2015. And I have the students, they keep that information in there because what we're trying to do is look at trends. And if we see that maybe cars from 2021 do really well as a group, then we can go back and look and say, okay, maybe there was something in the manufacturing, or there's something about these particular cars that makes them faster. So just trying to keep all the data we can. And while when I mentioned that other gravity track race that I was watching, where the cement mixer beat the blitz speeder, this quick bite, this was also in there. Also won a race on that channel. This thing would not have a chance against most of the cars that we race on our track. It's just the aerodynamic profile is it's no good. And that air would build up in the front and just slow this car's momentum down. So it just goes to show there is a difference between the gravity track and our track. And I have a video on the channel that shows where I was outside and built a gravity track and compared that to, and it's side by side with our launcher. And that's not even the new launcher that we currently use. It's like it's an old Mattel launcher. And the cars were still destroying the gravity track cars. And in the video, I extend the gravity track up a ladder, and so I keep increasing the angle and the height that the gravity track cars dropped in from, and I couldn't get high enough to get the gravity track cars enough speed to beat out the launcher cars. So, and that was with the old Mattel launcher. With this new launcher, the one that I designed, wouldn't even be close. I'd probably have to go up on a roof, drop the car down from the gravity track, and then hit the launcher when they got even, and probably still wouldn't be close. But all right, next up, so this one I didn't pick up at Target. This one I found when I was looking through storage, and it's the Mario Kart without Mario. Now I have one that has Mario in it, but this one is just the kart, and so it's listed here as standard kart. But I think we're going to call this the Mario Kart because that's what it is. Now this one I think is going to be the sleeper, even though I haven't pulled out all the rest of the cars. This is the one I'm kind of most curious about. So let's go ahead and check it out. What does it say on the back? Born in 2020 in El Segundo, California. Designed in Nintendo. The standard kart with its emblazoned M on the hood stands out as one of the most iconic and instantly recognizable vehicles in the world of video racing games. Its balance of speed, acceleration, weight, handling, and traction gives players everything they need to cross the finish line first. Well, let's see. The standard kart. That's what this is called. Let's see what it weighs. It's weighing in at 33.9 grams, and this one, I think this is going to be the one. There's a few reasons, but it's a metal base, and I think just from an aerodynamic standpoint, there's not a lot to. Obviously, there's the go-kart, the seat, but there just isn't a lot to really impede the airflow. It's got a low kind of center of gravity. Let me get this still picture here of the standard kart, aka the Mario Kart minus Mario. And I'll have to find the one with Mario and we'll have a side-by-side head-to-head race. But this one, now I'm wondering about the launch. We'll see when it comes around on the back side how those pipes coming out, how that all works out, and whether or not, let's get this lined up right there. We'll see whether or not it's kind of set up to get a good push, because I don't think it's going to be one of those cars that bounces around the track and flies off. Because the way those pipes are angled up, that means that it's going to be, that's the point of contact, and it's higher up on the launching block. If it was lower, I'd be concerned that this car would fly up into the air. With the point being higher, I think this car is going to be just fine, and I think it's going to be fast. I don't know, just something about it. I'm pretty confident this is it. But we are going to find out, because we've got another car that Christopher picked that is also a small kind of compact car. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when these cars race. I am not calling this the standard kart. I'm calling this the Mario Kart. I'll just put standard kart, just in case I need to look this up later online. I'll need to use the proper name, but I think this is going to be interesting. This is, so far, I think this is my pick. We've had a few of these smaller cars do well in the past. There is a go-kart racer something that's in the fleet because I picked it up at a Hot Wheels swap meet last year. But that car, I don't think it had the regular Hot Wheels wheels, which this one does. It had smaller wheels because it was it was a tiny little go-kart. And I think this might be the one. So we are going to see. So we've got the Grogu car, we've got the Hightail Chaser, we've got the Baja Bone Shaker, and now we've got the Mario Kart car. So now it's time to see what is up next. And go to my bag, my Walmart bag here. Dig in. And this one. Gotta check and see if we have one. This one is the McMurty Speirling. The McMurty Speirling. I don't think we have one of these because I don't remember that name, but I'm going to double check anyway to see if we have this car, the McMurty. We have McLarens. Those are the only Mick cars we have in here. McLaren. Well, guess what? Now we have a McMurty Speirling, which is definitely a real car. Born in 2021 in England, the designer McMurty Automotive. 0 to 60 in 1.5 seconds is just the start for this 1,000 base horsepower beast. It went viral after smashing a famous hill climb track record in England. Twin downforce fans suck it to the tarmac, delivering insane grip and cornering. That's why it's called a fan car. So there is the whole thing that we are going to be, well, with these cars, well, the real car, they're trying to create downforce, and then there are these fans that actually suck it down to the ground to create that grip and that downforce. And I was watching a video that, like, back in like the 70s, there was some racing circuit where they tried to use the fans to suck it down, but it was blowing out things out the back. And they eventually banned it. But this one is very interesting. Oh yeah, so Rashad's saying it's got these little openings. Oh yeah, this is okay. Let's take a close. Let me crack this open so we can look at it. All right, let's see what this weighs first. It's kind of small. McMurty Speirling, 29.1 grams. So this is coming in as our lightest car of the day. And when we switch over here, we talk about how all these supercars and hypercars usually have openings to direct the airflow. But that doesn't always, on the Hot Wheels cars, sometimes those holes get plugged up and they just get covered over. Not with this one. So you see that it's got an opening here and here above the wheel. Now the front is sort of, that plastic is kind of sealed up all the way across the front. And then you see the openings right there above the rear wheels. And on the actual car, it's probably, then you got that big diffuser right there in the back. On the actual car, those openings are almost certainly to direct that airflow in here and then up over the wheels. I'm sure it has something to do with directing the airflow over the wheels. It's not just an opening just for the sake of having an opening. But it's interesting that Hot Wheels actually put that in on this version, because we've seen some other cars where we know the real car has that type of opening, but the Hot Wheels version, that the opening is actually sealed up. So this is kind of cool. Let me get this in focus. That might help. Take a look at the McMurty Speirling. So this car. I may have jumped the gun a little early with my pick of the Mario Kart, because this one has all the makings of a car that could do well. It's definitely got a very good aerodynamic profile. It's got the wing, flat wing across the back that's kind of right at the roof line. The weight is low, but I think that it's not gonna. I don't think this is gonna be one of those cars, the light cars, that slows down at the back end. I don't see that as a problem for this car. And yeah, when we put this in the wind tunnel, it'll be interesting to see if we can actually find out and see how that airflow is gonna interact with those holes above the wheels. Oh wait, okay. So yeah, Roughshod is pointing out that it even has these openings right here behind the driver's cockpit. I didn't even see that. So let's see if I can kind of focus in here. Right there, you can kind of see that right down here, it's actually open. So this air is going to flow up over this thing and right back through those holes. It's going to flow right around this cockpit. This one, yeah, this is definitely going to be interesting to see inside of the wind tunnel. I mean, I already made my pick of the Mario Kart car is my pick for the car today. But even if we take a look at the back side of this, you can see that it's just got all of these openings to really direct that airflow. And we're going to see if that is in fact what happens. But the McMurty Speirling, McMurty Speirling is this might be the car. This might be the car. I think we're gonna have some interesting races. I don't know that Baja bone shaker, that may or may not do interesting things, but we just haven't had a car with those big tires. But other than that, I'm curious to see how that Grogu car goes. I don't know that car. I don't know if it will make it. You know what? I take that back. I think it will make it to the end of the track. The reason I was kind of hesitant is because I was thinking it had the smaller wheels, but it doesn't. It has regular Hot Wheels wheels, so it could possibly make it. But that Hightail Chaser, that's going to be interesting because we're probably going to have to put on that taller acrylic cover, even though the car is not technically that tall other than the wing. This Mario Kart and this McMurty Speirling, those two are going to be interesting. All right, let me put this in. SPE with a little mark over the top. SPEIRLING. We have got it. And let's see what. And now that they're saying that this car broke a record for some hill climb, I'm sure there's videos on YouTube, which I will be checking out later. 2025, and for the year on that one. So we have, just checking this Mario Kart. No, oh yeah, there it is, 2020. Mario Kart's also 2020. All right, so far we have the Grogu car, the Baja Bone Shaker, the Hightail Chaser, the Mario Kart, and the McMurty Speirling. And we are going to introduce one more car in here, and that is going to be Uh, this one. It is the 65 Pontiac Bonneville, and my grandfather had one of these. I don't know the exact year, but I remember he had a Bonneville. I was looking at some old pictures, and his was brown. This one's kind of a little lavender. But Pontiac Bonneville, part of this silver series, and I guess this is the Pontiac edition because there's an 84 Firebird and 06 GTO, 65 Bonneville, which is this one, a 70 GTO Judge, and a 65 Pontiac GTO. I didn't see that 65? 65 or 66. I can't make out the number. But this is the one we got, this Bonneville, so let's crack it open and take a look. All right, this feels heavy. This feels heavy, like these old school American cars from back in the day. Although it only weighs in at 37.4 grams, so it's not extremely heavy, but it is definitely going to have its work cut out for it if it ends up going up against most of the cars we've seen today. Let's check this out. This is the 65 Pontiac Bonneville. And we are going to, let me lock this in here. And actually, as dark as this one is, I'm going to throw in the silver background just to be able to see the lines on this car. And that definitely makes a difference. Set this thing around. And check it out. We've had some of these cars in the past, just some of these older American cars that had like an Impala. There was I think there was a Cutlass that I really liked, and they don't do very well on the track, but they're good looking cars. Yeah, nice. Yeah, this color. This is one of those cars that I pick up just because I really like the car, not because I really thought it was going to be fast or impressive on the track. There's the Matrix, that Lincoln Continental. I love that car. I have the premium version and I have the mainline version, and they are both slow, but they're two of the best looking cars. And I think the doors don't open. The real cars have like the suicide doors that flip open, but yeah, good looking cars. And let's see, 65 Pontiac Bonneville. I just happened to get into, like I said, I was in Walmart for something else completely different, and the Walmart that I go to usually don't find too much stocked up. They do have a lot of the premium cars, but that's only because, oh look at, they did the tail lights, put some red paint on the tail lights. I like that. Most of their premium cars are locked up behind in these plastic cases, so you don't really. I mean, so most of those are there because even if you wanted to look through them, you'd have to hit the little button and wait for somebody to show up and with a key, and then they're going to be annoyed while you're standing there trying to look at things. So I think most people just don't even go to the hassle of even checking for those cars. But let's see here. Get a little bit of fill light on this thing. And we have the Pontiac Bonneville 1965 edition. And that is rounding out today's fleet of cars. So we've got the 65 Pontiac Bonneville, the McMurty Speirling, the Mario Kart, the Hightail Chaser, the Grogu car, and the Baja Bone Shaker. And then we've got Roughshods pick. We've got Christopher's pick. Let me check the year on this one. And this is not very, oh, there it is, 2002. Yep, 2002 on the Bonneville. So we have that. Let me drop that in there, 2002. And we are looking good so far. So we've got our cars up to 990. We're only 10 cars away, which basically means kind of that first week of January. We should hit that 1,000th car. I got to get on it because I'm trying to figure out which car should be the 1,000th car. And I haven't landed on one yet, but I'm going to need to figure it out, and I'm going to need to buy it and make sure I have it in hand. So we can, when we get to that threshold, because at 990, yeah, 2 weeks. And I haven't checked the calendar to see when. Let's see. 20th to 20. Oh, you know what? That'll be the 27th. That'll be that Saturday after Christmas. So, yeah, we're right there. So I need to get on my job. All right, but let me go and grab. I gotta grab Christopher's car because I put that away. So I'm gonna grab that car and come back. We're gonna take a look at Roughshod's car, Christopher's car, and then we're gonna hit the track and see which of these cars is going to end up challenging the RD09 for fastest in fleet supremacy. So I'll be right back. Flush it. All right, let's see. We've got this car. This is the two Jets. This is going to be, let's switch over to this view. This car, actually, let me see what it weighs. Weighs in at 29.5 grams. So it's right there with the Speirling as being a light car. It's open wheel, which always makes me a little nervous because we always have to remember what happened to Forky and open wheel cars. When they crash and they hit that barrier, that axle goes, and that is it. Those cars are toast. They are never to be seen on the track again. So hopefully this car can stay on the track. It's got that one little exhaust pipe like coming out of the back, and it's gonna press up. It's just gonna have this one point of contact which is going to be right there on the launching block. So when it gets pushed out, it's anybody's guess what's going to happen with this one. We had it in the wind tunnel. Aerodynamically, it was fine. So there's no issues there. But it's just a matter of, is it going to get a solid launch? Is it going to stay straight on the track? Is it going to bounce around? That's the question, and that's why we take these cars to the track to see what happens. Hopefully, all I care about is that it stays on the track and the axles stay intact. Other than that, hey, anything can happen. So we've got that. That's the two jets, and then we have Rough Shots pick, which is this AMC Javelin AMX. And we've got the Stars and Stripes edition here. And this car is interesting because it's narrow at the front, which you'll see when it comes around. It's narrow at the front. It gets a little wider at the back end. And that perspective doesn't really kind of do it justice. But this is, pretty about as traditional. Looking at the cars we have today, this is, other than the Bonneville, this is about as traditional setup, shape, and design as we're going to get. And I think this car should do well. I think that Speirling, that Mario Kart, might have something to say about it. I think this car could definitely beat probably the Baja, Bone Shaker, Grogu, and the Bonneville. Then how it would perform against the Hightail Chaser, not sure. The two jets and those smaller cars. So we have the two jets, the McMurty Speirling, and the Mario Kart, those really small, compact cars that I kind of expect to do well and be fast on the track. But you never know. You just don't know until we actually get there. So we've got this one. Back end is, let me check the weight on this. This AMC Javelin is 34.2 grams, so great weight on that car. And the back end has just a slight curve to it, but right there, but nothing that's really going to make a huge difference in the kind of launch that it gets. So that is what we've got there. With the AMC Javelin, we have our lineup all set up, and so we are just about ready to hit the track. But in case you just found the video on YouTube one day and you clicked and then you jumped right to the races, I want to let you know what you're about to see. You are going to see our 3-camera track view, and the cars are going to start at the top of the screen on the left. I am going to give a countdown, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to hit a switch on the launcher. The cars are going to come from the top to the bottom of the screen. They're going to pass out of the bottom of the screen on the left. They're going to show up at the top of the screen in the middle. They are going to pass from top to bottom. They're going to pass out of the bottom of the screen in the middle and show up at the top of the screen on the right, our finish line camera. They're going to go from top to bottom. They're going to cross the finish line, and the winning car will be indicated with a solid red light. A solid red light will indicate the winning car. A flashing red light indicates the losing car. Solid red light winning, flashing red light losing. The cars will switch lanes after each race. Our races are best 2 out of 3, so the first car to take 2 races will move on. In the event that a car crashes and leaves the track, then no worries. We just throw out the results of that race, set the cars up again, and rerun the race. If the same car crashes twice consecutively, then that car is disqualified, because usually if a car crashes twice consecutively in exactly the same way, it suggests that there is a problem with the car that is not going to be resolved by just rerunning the race. And so we will disqualify that car. But that is pretty much, if a car crashes but it stays on the track. We've had that happen. A car crashes, goes upside down, but doesn't leave the track. That's too bad. That car just lost. So if your car crashes, you want it to actually leave the track and be done. You don't want to have a situation where your car crashes but stays on the track. That's no good. So we are going to head over to the track, and I will see you over there in 30 seconds. Let me just double check our audio situation. And 1 2 1 2. Yep, audio's good. All right, we are all set up here. Make sure. So I guess the first thing I need to check is to see if this Grogu is going to, if the ears are going to hit the tripod. So this car is going to come through. Oh, it's already, the head's still bobbing up and down. I thought I had cut off that tab. How is that still happening? Let's see. That is strange. So you can see this car. I can hear the clicking. And you see the head. Oh, this is gonna be awful. This car doesn't have a shot. Trying to see. I thought I clipped it off. It definitely wasn't as clean a cut as I would have liked, because it's not, you can't get to the inside of the wheel, but this doesn't bode well. So Grogu, the ears hitting the tripod is not going to be the biggest concern with this car. With this car, the big concern is going to be that little clicking that you hear that makes the head bob up and down. And this car's done. But we're going to run the races anyway, because it's possible that we get surprised, but I don't think so. And I'm going to give Grogu a shot. I'm going to put Grogu up against the Bonneville. So we're going to go with this big, old school American luxury car against the Grogu car, which is going to need the taller acrylic cover. And since the Bonneville does not, that means we get to use our hybrid cover that has one side higher and one side lower. And is this Grogu car still too tall? No, it's just bouncing around. All right, let's get these cars lined up and see just what happens. I don't think this Grogu car makes it to the end of the track, personally, but I could be wrong. We've got the 65 Bonneville in lane 2. We have the Grogu gimmick car in lane 1, and we are ready for race number 1. Here we go. Grogu lane 1, Bonneville lane 2. Here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. Grogu was trying to use the force because it came out like a shot and was actually kind of in the lead, and then it just got to clicking and slowing down, and that Bonneville looked like a rocket. But as we've discussed in the past, it's not that the Bonneville sped up, it's that the Grogu car, in this case, just slowed down. Did not make it to the finish line, We're gonna switch lanes, but there's no shot, no chance. Now it's just one of those things of, can you even finish the race? Because that was maybe one of the most pathetic performances we've seen. But granted, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna really get a magnifying glass and get precise so that I can get in there and really clean out the tab, because clearly a part of the tab was left intact, and I need to get that all the way cleared out so that there's nothing obstructing the wheel. But even then, that was a bad performance. That was very bad. So we're gonna see if my grandfather's Bonneville can notch another victory here and move on. If I can get it lined up. This car is being stubborn, like my grandfather. All right, here we go. The Bonneville is in lane 1. We have the Grogu car in lane 2. Race number 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. As if it were possible, that Grogu car did even worse. We've never had a car so bad that it didn't at least make it to the last third of the track. That was a horrible performance. Bonneville moves on, and the Bonneville need not pat itself on the back, because that was the most lopsided, ridiculous race we've seen. So Grogu, I'm gonna check that wheel and get that tab cleared off, and Grogu's gonna get another shot in the coming weeks, because you can't go out like that. That's not the way you want to go out. All right. I guess while we've got this taller cover here, and we're gonna have to go even taller. I'm looking at this Baja bone shaker, and basically it is so tall that I've got to lift up the tall side of the acrylic cover. We'll go Baja bone shaker, and might as well take it up against the Javelin. So get Roughshods Javelin here, but first let me lift up this thing, make sure it's tall enough to allow the bone shaker to roll on through. So this is another matchup that I don't have high hopes for this bone shaker, just because we've never had a car with these off-road tires do well. But again, they're usually bigger trucks, but that's what they've turned this bone shaker into, this kind of off-road vehicle. And then we've got the AMC Javelin, which is just a standard car, good weight. We had it in the wind tunnel, good aerodynamic profile. So this is another one that should not be close. But once we get past this, then we should really start seeing some good races. But we've got the Baja Bone Shaker in lane 2. We've got the AMC Javelin in lane 1. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. The AMC, for some reason, decides to do a little stunt maneuver, went up on 2 wheels, kept flipping, ended up on its roof like a turtle, and just laid there on the track. It would have been better if it had crashed. It just stayed upside down like that and slid on its roof, and let this slow bone shaker take the race. Now, we can't, the bone shaker won that, but come on, we got to get this AMC. We got to get it on the track. So let's flip this, line this up, because I'm pretty sure if this Javelin just stays on the track, it is going to take the win. But let's flip this thing around and line this up here. And we will now have the Javelin in lane 2. We will put the Baja Bone Shaker in lane 1 with this taller modified acrylic cover. And we are ready for race number 2. We've got the AMC Javelin in lane 2 and the Baja Bone Shaker in lane 1. Three, two, one, race. Okay, so both cars stayed on the track, but the Javelin won, but not by a lot. That was close. That was way closer than I thought it would be. And we are going to race number 3. And if the Javelin can just stay on the track, it should be good. But, well, so I thought. But it's going to take a little bit more. It's got to actually come through, because that Baja Bone Shaker, with its big off-road tires, held its own, put in a good, solid performance. So are we going to see the first car with off-road tires take a race or not? I don't know. But that Javelin better not ease up on the gas, because the Bone Shaker was right there on its tail, right there the whole way. That race was a lot closer than I thought it would be. Bone Shaker is now going into lane 2, the Baja Bone Shaker, lifted off-road version of the classic Bone Shaker. And AMC Javelin Stars and Stripes edition is in lane 1. AMC lane 1, Baja Bone Shaker lane 2. Race 3, here we go. Three, two, one, race. That AMC was losing that race right up until the halfway point, and then those aerodynamics, that drag started to come into place and started to get to the Bone Shaker, and then you saw the AMC catch it and pass it, and the Bone Shaker, the Baja Bone Shaker, represented well for these off-road tired vehicles. Probably the best off-road tire vehicle performance we've seen, but it still was not good enough to get it out of the first round, so it goes back to the garage. And now that we've got the Baja Bone Shaker and we've got the Grogu car out of the way, we're now getting into some serious business. We are going to go let's go with this Hightail Chaser against the Mario Kart. And let me check, because the Hightail Chaser, with its giant Superbird wing on the back, is probably going to need the taller acrylic cover. Let's see. It is not. It actually fits with the standard cover, so that's good. So let's move that over there and get these cars all set up and ready to run. We have the Hightail Chaser with its giant wing and its kind of hybrid everything else. With a lot of these fantasy cars, you can see where they took the inspiration. Now, here's something that's interesting. With this Hightail Chaser, The wing is actually taller than the launching block. So it's actually the back bumper of the car that's touching the launching block instead of that wing. With the Mario Kart, it is those two big exhausts that are touching the launching block, so it's ready to go. We've got the Mario Kart in lane 2. We've got the Hightail Chaser in lane 1. This is race number 1. Just checking the track. Race number 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Oh, look at the Mario Kart coming all the way back near the start line. As I expected, that Mario Kart kind of took off like a shot. The Hightail Chaser was never really in the mix, and I don't even know that says much about the Hightail Chaser. I don't think there's anything wrong with that car. And adjust this a little bit. I don't think there's anything wrong with the Hightail Chaser. I just think that this Mario Kart is just set up to do impressive work on our track. And we're going to switch it over. And I'm definitely kind of curious to see how this plays out, because we've got some other cars also that look like they're going to be pretty interesting to watch race. But now we've got the Hightail Chaser switched over to lane 2. The Mario Kart is in lane 1. Hightail Chaser needs to take these next 2 races. Here we go, race number 2. Three, two, one, race. Oh, that Mario Kart was gone from the beginning. I mean, it seemed almost before the Hightail Chaser even got out of the starting block, the Mario Kart was halfway down the track. That was something. This may be the car to watch. I picked it, but now this next race that we're gonna have is the car that could do in the Mario Kart. It's possible. We are now going to get to Christopher's 2 Jets with its open wheels that I'm concerned about, and this McMurty Speirling, which is really set up, I think, to do equally well with as well as the Mario Kart. It's got those kind of unique openings all around the car, which should reduce the drag by letting that air flow like right over, under and around everything. We've got the 2 Jets here. This is a smaller car that's going to have an interesting launch, to say the least, because it's just got that one pipe touching the launching block. It's got these open wheels. I have no idea what's going to happen. We've got the 2 Jets in lane 2, and we've got the McMurty Speirling in lane 1. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Wow. When in that last race, when I said that the Mario Kart was halfway down the track before the other car got out of the blocks, wow. That was the same thing we saw with this race, with that McMurty Speirling, but even worse. I mean, wow. I don't think I've seen a gap like that between 2 cars not since the race just before with the Hightail Chaser and the Mario Kart. That was shocking. I'm going to give the 2 Jets the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it got a bad launch or something, but wow. that McMurty Speirling was out. All right, here we're. I'm kind of stunned because that was that race, that start that car got was incredible. So we're gonna see if it can replicate that, or if Two Jets just had a bad race, which happens. So we've got the McMurty Speirling in lane 2. We've got the Two Jets in lane 1. Race 2, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Okay, that was more like it. So the Two Jets must have gotten a bad launch that first time, and the second race, it actually did better, but it was not good enough to get up and defeat that McMurty Speirling. So at least it had a respectable performance this time, because that first performance was totally disrespectful. But the Two Jets needed about 6 or 7 jets to be able to beat that McMurty Speirling, and we now have moved down to our final 4, and we have the Mario Kart, we have the McMurty Speirling, and we have the Javelin and the Bonneville. Now, we could go. It makes sense to go Mario Kart versus Speirling and Javelin versus Bonneville, but then that would kind of leave an anticlimactic ending, because I think that it's clear that the Mario Kart and the Speirling are the two fastest out of this group. So we're going to mix it up, and we're going to go Mario Kart versus Javelin. It's going to be a brutal matchup for that Bonneville. But hey, that's how it shakes out. When you get down to a certain level, then that is what happens. Hey, Christopher, how you doing? Yeah, no problem. You can always catch up on what happened on the replay. And we are going to put the Mario Kart in lane 1. And we are going to put the AMC Javelin AMX, the Stars and Stripes edition, Rough Shots pick, in lane 2. This Javelin is really going to have to, just have a perfect race and put the hammer down, because this Mario Kart in that last race looked extremely fast. So here we go. Mario Kart lane 1, AMC Javelin lane 2, race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Mario Kart is just out. The RD09 should really be sweating and worried that its little reign and run may be coming to an end in a matter of races, because this Mario Kart and that Speirling look faster than most cars that we've seen in a long time. However, it may be a case that they're racing cars that are not as fast as they are. So let's go ahead and switch this out. It's not over till it's over. There's still a chance. As long as you've got an opportunity, a race ahead of you, then there's a chance. But the chances that this Javelin is going to beat this Mario Kart are slim and none. And I think Slim just left town. But we're going to see. There's always a chance that the Mario Kart could get a couple of bad launches. That might help it out. That might make a difference. But even then, I don't know. It's a very long shot. So let me get this Javelin to stay put. We've got the AMC Javelin in lane 1. We've got the Mario Kart lane 2. Race number 2. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Okay, so the Javelin kept it closer in that race. It was still beaten, but at least it went out with some dignity and some respect. So now we are getting down to, we know the Mario Kart's going to be in the finals. The real question is it going to be facing the Speirling or the Bonneville? I don't think that's much of a mystery, but we're going to run the races anyway. So we are going to have the Pontiac Bonneville, the 65, in lane number 1. And get this car lined up. And then we will have the McMurty Speirling in lane number 2. This car was just incredible in its first race, but first races. But we'll see what happens against this classic American car, this Pontiac Bonneville 65 that will not stay into position. It's almost like it's eager to get out of the gate. I can't. So strange. Sometimes these cars I press them up against the launching block, and as soon as I move my hand, they just roll forward a little bit. I don't know what's going on. All right, got it lined up. Okay, here we go. We've got the Pontiac Bonneville in lane 1. We've got the McMurty Speirling in lane 2. This is the semifinal matchup, race 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. The Bonneville just smashes into the barrier. It's like it would rather crash into the barrier than have to face the Speirling. So let's go ahead and get these lined up again. Speirling just got a good test pass. And let's see. Get these things lined up. That Bonneville, it needs to stay on the track. We know it can stay on the track, so it's not like I'm going to just disqualify it. Usually cars that get disqualified are cars that it's clear that they're more likely to crash than they are to stay on the track. All right, let's line this up again. Race 1, Bonneville lane 1, Speirling lane 2. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Honestly, the Bonneville did a little better than I expected. It was clearly beaten, but when it came out of the gate, it went up on 2 wheels a bit, and it was a little wobbly and shaky. It took about the first third of the track before it got right and started moving at a normal pace, and that is why it's still lost, but it didn't lose by as much as I expected. And we're gonna see if it can get a solid launch. I don't expect it to win, obviously, but I think it's possible that it can be like the Javelin and just have a respectable exit from today's tournament and not go out getting totally blown out and annihilated. So let's see how this kind of plays out. We have the come on, stay put. There we go. All right, we've got the Javelin. We've got the Bonneville in lane 2. We have the Speirling, the McMurty Speirling in lane 1. Race 2, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Whoa. Look at the Bonneville. Okay, the Bonneville definitely kept it close and a lot closer. So maybe it probably got a bad launch in the first race because it was wobbling around. But this race, it stayed straight and it was close with the Speirling. So the Speirling is definitely fast, but it's not necessarily as incredibly lights out fast as we originally thought, but it's definitely fast. And the other car that's definitely fast is this Mario Kart, and that is our finals matchup. It is the McMurty Speirling against the Mario Kart. And you picked up, see, Christopher, you picked up a 58 Chevy Impala. Oh, nice. I think, I want to say I saw that one. I think I saw it in a video where somebody was doing like an unboxing or something online, but I don't know that I've seen it necessarily in the package or on the shelves. I don't think. All right, let's go. Right now, we've got the Mario Kart. We have the McMurty Speirling. McMurty Speirling is lined up in lane 1. The Mario Kart minus Mario is lined up in lane 1. This is one of the more interesting finals matchups we've had in a while, because I really don't know which of these cars is going to come out on top, and have no idea. But the Mario Kart's in lane 1, the McMurty Speirling's in lane 2. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Wow. I thought that McMurty Speirling was fast. That Mario Kart destroyed it. Absolutely destroyed it. I don't know if the Speirling got a bad launch. I don't know what the issue may or may not have been. But, wow. That was pretty wild. Let's see, though. We're going to switch lanes. And it's always possible when you see like a blowout that one car just got a bad launch. We saw it. I mean, the Bonneville crashed and then came back. And when it got a good launch, it was competitive. Didn't win, but it was competitive. So maybe that will be the case here with this Speirling, that it just got a bad launch, and now this time it will be up for the challenge, if I can get it to stay in position, which I can't. These cars, kind of temperamental. All right, let's get it in place. Come on, Speirling, you're holding us up. And there we go. All right, we've got the Speirling in lane 1. We've got, oh, it just moved away from the launching block. Come on, stay put. So these cars sometimes, some of these cars, I want them to be pressed up right against the launching block, because otherwise they'll get punched out of the block and it's more likely they'll crash. But all right, we have the McMurty Speirling in lane 1. We have the Mario Kart in lane 2. Race 2, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Woo-hoo, that race was much closer. Obviously, McMurty Speirling takes it, as you indicated by the solid red light. The question now is, who's taking this final race? Is it going to be the Mario Kart? Is it going to be the McMurty Speirling? And are either of these cars really fast enough to beat the RD09? We are going to find out. We're only one race away from finding out an answer to that question. We are putting the McMurty Speirling in lane 2. And we are putting the Mario Kart in lane 1. Get it lined up. There we go. Mario Kart lane 1, McMurty Speirling lane 2. It's 1-1. This is race number 3. Let's see what happens. 3, 2, 1, race. And the Mario Kart just got dominant again and took that race and is today's champion. The Mario Kart, the McMurty Speirling. It had some good races. It's a good-looking car, nice, compact. I think it's really good for the track. But it just ran into the Mario Kart, and the Mario Kart was not ready to go home yet. So now we're going to have Mario Kart versus the RD09. Can the Mario Kart take out the champ? We're going to find out. Because sometimes it's tough to tell. Like, we know that the Mario Kart is fast, but the RD09 is weird because I'm still not completely convinced that it is, I don't know, it's definitely won races, and it's the champ, but it just hasn't impressed me in the way that some of the other cars, the Gazella, the Blitz Speeder, have in the past. And maybe it'll just grow on me. If it can take out the Mario Kart, that'll go a long way. So we've got the RD09, our current fastest in fleet champion, in lane 1. We've got the Mario Kart in lane 2. Race number 1, here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. RD09 pulls it off. So there we go. I think the RD09's like, listen, I'm the champion for a reason, and I'm going to have to go out here and show you that you're going to need to respect my racing game. And I think we're one race away from me having to acknowledge that the RD09 really is elite. Obviously, it's been champion for a month. I don't think it's really been challenged or pushed, but that's happening now. So we're gonna see if you can take out the Mario Kart right here. Then we will be looking at a 5th week as champion for this car. Let me get the Mario Kart to stay put. Mario Kart is in lane 1. RD09 is in lane 2. Race number 2. Here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. Okay, this Mario Kart, it just likes lane 1. It's getting off to really good starts out of lane 1, but we are now moving into our finals. We are going to have the RD09 in lane 2. We are going to have, the RD09 is going to be in lane 1. The Mario Kart is going to be in lane 2. And we will see what happens from this point. Can the Mario Kart get the job done? Take out the RD09 and become our newest, fastest in fleet champion? Or is the RD09 going to continue its run? Here we go. RD09 is in lane 1. Mario Kart's in lane 2. Race number 3. Here we go. 1-1. Three, 2, 1, race. RD09 takes it. That race those cars got out. That was a bad launch for both cars. But the RD09 takes it, which goes to show that sometimes it's just about can you get a better launch than your opponent. That was a very slow race, but sometimes that happens if the launcher kind of hangs up a little bit. But the thing that we know is that even if the launcher hangs up, when it pushes out, both cars still get the same amount of force applied to them. So it's not like one car gets an advantage if the launcher has a slower push. It's just a matter of which car is fastest, and which car is fastest at a slower speed, which car is fastest at a higher speed. This time it was the RD09. So let me gather these cars up and head back in the garage, take a look at the winners, the losers, and what's coming up next. So the RD09 remains our fastest in fleet car. It definitely, it was beaten in one of the races by the Mario Kart, and then the Mario Kart just didn't have, I don't think it had its best launches or performance in that matchup against the RD09. And so it's a situation where usually you wouldn't pick certain cars because you know that they already raced. So like we're up at car number 990. So you probably wouldn't pick car number 940 because you know that that car already raced, already lost to, some of these cars that are here now. And if it was faster, then it would have been the champion car. But I think what we saw today is that it really does depend on the kind of launch a car gets. And a car can get a bad launch and lose a race. And if it gets 2 bad launches out of 3, then it can lose completely. But that Mario Kart is fast. And I think that if someone were to pick that car again, that there's a chance that that car could become the fastest in fleet car. I think it got a bad launch, and I think it's just that simple. Bad launch, but the RD09 doesn't have bad days and just keeps winning. So the RD09 remains our champion. The most disappointing car of the day, obviously, clearly, was the Grogu car, and I think I'm really gonna have to go in and clean up this tab, because I don't think I got all of the pieces out because that head was still bobbing up and down, and if that's happening, then that means that there's that little piece that I didn't completely clear out, and it made this car slow down prematurely. And it didn't even make it to the last third of the race. That was the worst performance that we've ever seen. And after I clear out the rest of that tab and put this car back on the track, then we'll see. We'll see whether or not this car can do something. It's got to at least finish the race. We've never had a car that has not finished a car with plastic wheels. Cars with rubber wheels almost never finish because there's too much friction and they can't make it all the way down the track. But cars with standard plastic Hot Wheels wheels, we've never had one that hasn't at least made it down the track. Even some of the heavy cars from the 80s, 70s, and 80s, those metal on metal cars, still crossed the finish line. This was the worst performance we've ever seen. And so I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to clear out those tabs. And we'll put it back on the track maybe next week just to see if it can redeem itself and at least cross the finish line. Otherwise, we will have a new standard for a terrible car on the track. It will be that they pulled a Grogu, and that will be part of the issue. Let's see here. So, red and green cars for next Saturday's races. I'll have to see. I'll look through the storage bin and see what I can pull out. The only one I know that we do that's Christmas themed is that Santa sleigh, which it's also got the little tab. It's got the little tab to make it's rocking Santa sled, and it's got the little tabs that make the Santa rock back and forth. If I do pull that out, I'm probably going to have to, actually, I think it's right here. This one, the Rockin' Santa sled. This one. And so it's got a little thing in there to make the Santa rock back and forth when it's rolling. So that means that there are tabs on these wheels. Yep, there are the tabs right there. So those tabs in the back, I may cut those off, and then we will just have the Santa sled and no more rocking, and see how that performs. So I'll see if I can find what cars I can find to race, and we'll see how they do. And if I can find, like I said, I think that's the only Christmas themed car that I have is that rockin' Santa sled. This McMurty Speirling, this is a good car. It's a good solid car, and I think just like the Mario Kart, I think it didn't get its best launch in that first race. So, I would definitely pick this car again in the future. So this car and the Mario Kart should get picked again. Let's see. December 24th. Oh yeah, December 24th. Yeah, probably. I'll probably do a Wind Tunnel Wednesday on Christmas Eve, probably. And let's see. Okay, so you're going with car 444 and 445, so right next to each other. Let's go ahead and take a quick look, see which cars those are, 444 and 445. We are just 2 weeks away from hitting our 1,000th car, and I have to make a selection on which cars those are going to be. All right, 445 and 446. So we've got the 444 and 445. 44 is the 86 Monte Carlo SS. This is a nice car. I like this one a lot. Traditional car. So the aerodynamic profile on this one should be pretty standard with that air building up in that front. It's kind of got a sizable kind of frontal area coming up over the hood, hitting that windshield, and then I expect to see that airflow detachment like along the roof line there. So that's an interesting car and pick. And then the other that you're considering is the Dodge Viper SRT ACR. Now this one, this is pretty. This is a good-looking car. I like how the driver's cockpit sits back. It's got that long hood, which is something we've seen on a number of the cars that have performed pretty well on the track. And yeah, I don't see any real issues with this car. It's got a pretty sizable frontal area as well, but it should be pretty interesting. So we'll throw this one in the wind tunnel and see what happens, how it performs, and then we will, Christopher will make a decision, and we'll see which one will be in the mix next Saturday to challenge the RD09 for fastest in fleet, the fastest in fleet title. And if you want to make a selection, just go to AtTheTrack.live, select the choose your car option, and go all the way through and find the car that you want to race. When you find it, take the number. If it is this Aston Martin 177, then you can check that out And if that's the car you want to go with, all you have to do is drop the number 469, in that case, into the chat. I will pull the car. And if it's Wednesday, I will pull the car and we'll put it in the wind tunnel. If it is Saturday, we'll pull the car and take it to the track and see how your car fares. So that is what is coming up. Just more races, and cars into the wind tunnel. I got a survey from the Pontiac Labs people asking me about the Winsible and other products that I've purchased from them, and I gave them some feedback, and hopefully they use that and take it into consideration and maybe make some modifications and some adjustments. But we still have fun with the wind tunnel. We're able to get a sense of how much drag the cars are likely to face on the track when they race, and we're going to take some of these cars, so the Speirling, the Mario Kart, this Grogu, we're going to take those and put those into the wind tunnel and see what we see on Wednesday. So that is Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, and after that, we're getting closer. We're only 2 weeks away, basically 2 weeks away from our 1,000th car on At The Track Live. So for At The Track Live, for All About Aerodynamics, and for Wind Tunnel Wednesdays, I am Coach James, and until next time, I will see you at the races.